In this video, I'd like to talk about the tree. If you have a gazebo that has a tree, you'll have one of these 4 trees in the kit. For the photo play, you'll have this tree in the kit. For the doodle bug, you'll have this tree in the kit. For the limited edition Graphics 45, you'll have this tree in the kit. And today, talk about this tree, which is the Graphics 45 tree for this year's Christmas paper. Let's look at the tree first. This tree is all folded and glued ahead of time for you because it's been drilled through. There are 3 holes. Maybe can't see the holes on this. 3 holes that have been drilled through. So there's going to be 3 layers, a top layer, a middle layer, and a bottom layer for the beads that you will add. Okay. If we look at the first 2 trees, these trees have acrylic faceted balls or beads, and there's 3 layers of beads, and there's 12 sections on a tree. So if I turn upside down, 12 sections on a tree, and each section will have a bead. So you'll string beads all the way through for each layer, and you want to start with the smallest beads first. The top layer will go first as far as stranding the beads on there. And so you have actually 36 clear beads for the first 2 trees. And then you have 2 additional beads that go on the very top that are strung through by a wire going through. Now if I look at the Graphics 45 trees, look a little bit different. They have half as many clear acrylic beads, but there are little wooden beads that are placed as fillers in between to give it a little bit different design in the tree. So here we have a clear bead, 2 wooden beads, and then another clear bead, and then the next one over has a wooden bead first, then a clear bead, then 2 wooden beads. So they alternate all the way around the tree. So when you're stringing those, you're going to be stringing a clear bead, and then in the next section, wooden beads. This also has a top, 2 beads on the top again for the top of the tree. Let's talk about your kit. In your kit, going back to the tree itself, and this one here I'm again looking at the one that is the Graphics 45 Christmas tree for this year. You want to take the tree and put some glue on one side. This is to close up the tree. And then you're going to take and bring those 2 leaves together. Okay, bring them together. And then what you want to do is, when you bring them together, try and straighten out the leaves so that they're even. Bring across the next 2, one on either side, leaves that have already been glued. And when you do that, that allows you to press it down and get a really nice even glue. And then that even glue would go all the way down, and then if you look at the bottom, you can see the little tiny hole at the bottom too, so everything ends up being even. Okay. So you want to press that down, hold it for a minute or 2, let it kind of dry or get really tacky to hold it together. So now, also when you're bringing those 2 leaves together, the ones that we glued, what you want to do is you want to make sure that the holes are matched up on either side, because when we drill the holes, they don't necessarily match up. But what you can do is you can take a sharp point, a needle or whatever, and bring it down through the hole and make sure that the holes go all the way through for all 3 the layers. So once you've done that, now you've got your tree put together. And now you can start to talk about the beads. In the kits, well, you have clear beads in these 2, and then we're going to have clear beads with wooden beads in these 2. So depending upon which kit you have, you'll have one or the other of those. I'm going to talk about the beads in the mixed bag that has the wooden beads and the clear acrylic beads. In there you're going to have 6. So here I'll point at them. You're going to have 6 beads, large beads. That's for the lower layer, the bottom layer of the tree. Then you're going to have 6 medium beads that are for the middle layer of the tree. And then you're going to have 6 beads for the top layer of the tree. You're also going to have 2 additional beads which form the crest on the top of the tree that has a wire, and you're going to bring that through the wire. The wire has a little loop at the end. This one. Okay. So you're going to bring that through. Make sure that the wire is in the smaller bead, and that gives you the top of the tree. Also, you're going to have a strand of, I guess it's acrylic thread, to be able to thread the beads through the tree. Again, you're going to want to start with only doing the smallest beads first, the top layer first. Not the top of the tree, but the top first layer first. And something that might help you, because we're going to be looking for the holes when we bring the beads through. We're going to be looking for that hole, and sometimes it gets a little difficult. So what I've done is I've taken a marker pen and marked the end of the bead. I mean, not the end of the bead, the end of the strand. I've taken and marked the end of the strand with black. It could be any color. Just so long as that way it helps to be able to see where the thread is. And the other thing with the thread is I will take and only, I have a little stop here. You actually have 3 feet or more of this thread. And don't cut it ahead of time. You want to continue to use the thread as you go through the tree. When you get to the top layer and you come to the end of the top layer, you're going to tie 2 little knots and then cut it off there, and then continue on with the rest of the strand. So what I've done is I have a little clip that I use as a stop, so that when I'm threading the tree, I don't get all of this other thread in the way as I thread the tree. And so when you should be able to end up with this one here that started out of the kit to look like something like this. And in the end, then you're going to take, I'm going to move this away, and you're going to take your gazebo, which you may or may not have already done the top. Actually, the top comes after this video, constructing the top, so I'll set the top aside. But if you should have this part of it already done, ready for your tree. And then if I take the tree and I pass the wire through the tree, this is the wire that had the 2 extra beads on it. If I pass that through the tree, then that allows me to take that tree. There's a hole in the middle of your gazebo, and you might want to take your pointer and go down and find that little hole and maybe make it a little bit bigger so that at least you could see it as you put the wire through it. Then bring the wire down into the gazebo. You gotta find the hole. There it is. You find the hole, bring the tree all the way down, hold it tight through the bottom, put your finger on the top of the tree to hold it in place, and then go to the bottom and bend over the bottom, and that will hold the tree inside the gazebo. Then you also have in your kit a round piece that allows you to cover the wire and glue it down in place. So that way the tree will not come out of the gazebo. And we can go ahead and try the lights here. although you may not have put this module together yet. But when we put the lights in there, we have the tree in there with the acrylic beads, then you can start to see the effect of the beads inside the gazebo. Have fun.